Do I think the game has changed? Absolutely. And it's the individual personalities that are responsible for that change. Rod Laver, Pete Sampras, John McEnroe, all of them have had their own influence over the way tennis has evolved over the years. If I had to pick out one player who has affected the game the most, that would have to be Dale Torrey.
Dale Torrey was 9 years old when he picked up his first tennis racket. His coaches quickly identified him as a child prodigy. However, his promising career was jeopardized when at 10 years old, Dale was diagnosed with narcolepsy.
How did our parents take the diagnosis? Well, they were devastated. But Dale wasn't going to let a little thing like this stop him. He was determined.
Dale continued to train and compete despite suffering from bouts of narcolepsy that could be triggered by stress, adrenaline, even sexual arousal.
Yeah, puberty was not a good time for my brother.
Determined to follow his dream, and undeterred by the hardship and adversity he faced, Dale Torrey entered himself in tournament after tournament. Finally, in 1983, Dale Torrey became the first narcoleptic to turn pro.
There was always a stigma surrounding tennis that narcoleptics couldn't play, or epileptics couldn't play, or limbless amputees couldn't play. And Dale really took it upon himself to break down the walls for all of these groups.
You know, so many people would try to tell my brother that, this is crazy, you should give up. But, Dale would never listen to him. Usually because he was asleep.
Torrey's career reached its peak with an unforgettable match at Wimbledon in the summer of '88, when Torrey faced off against Russian powerhouse Ivan Gadorin.
Yes, Dale Torrey. Truth be told, he fell asleep shortly after we began playing, so he was one of my easier matches of the tournament. But those 5 minutes when he was awake, that was something.
Dale had a very unique strategy. He would swing at the ball, then he would fall over and take a 20 to 30 minute nap. He didn't win very often, or even hit the ball, but you gotta give him credit for being persistent.
Sadly, Dale Torrey passed away earlier this year. However, he left this world doing the work he loved, blazing trails for the disenfranchised and showing that the underdog always has a chance.
I think there are many lessons to be learned about Dale Torrey. Never say never. Commit to your success. You create your own identity. It's best to fertilize lawn mid-October, early November. I think that if we remember these lessons, his legacy will live on.
Dale was a pioneer. That's just who he was. After claiming tennis, he wanted to move on to other professional sports. In hindsight, stock car racing probably wasn't the best choice.
Was Dale Torrey the greatest male single player who ever lived? No. Was he a good tennis player? No. Was it funny watching him fall over in the middle of a match? Oh yeah.